Would you send a kid home in the middle of the night? Hi, it's Kat Starling here, and I like to make doodle videos paired with internet conversation. So let's unwind, listen along, and maybe join me for some doodles while we reflect on some stories. AITA for making a mom pick up her daughter in the middle of the night from a kid's sleepover. This weekend, I had a small birthday sleepover for my 8-year-old daughter and a couple of her friends. Sleepover! The night started completely normal. The girls had snacks, watched some movies, and went to bed around 10:30. But around 1:30 a.m., one of them came into my room crying and woke me up. Single mom here, so there was no man in my room, don't worry. She said she was scared and wanted her mom. While I was trying to calm her down, she told me that this was her first sleepover anywhere new, which was unbeknownst to me and caught me off guard. Aw, poor dear, that's no fun to be homesick. It would have been nice if OP knew that ahead of time. A sleepover for the first time at a new place and without your parents? That sounds like a lot in one night. I know my first night without my mom was at my grandmother's, and my mom made sure that we knew we could call her for any reason. I did my best to comfort her. I sat with her and got her a drink, but she kept on crying, getting more worked up, repeating that she wanted to go home. I gave it some time, but it wasn't getting any better, so at that point, I felt like it wouldn't be right to force her to stay somewhere she was clearly not happy. I called her mom and asked if she could come pick her up then and there. Her mom came, but she seemed annoyed. I understand being annoyed that your plans are ruined, but dropping everything for your kid sort of comes with the territory, no? The next morning, she texted me saying she wished I had just waited it out until the morning because now her daughter is embarrassed and might not want to try sleepovers again. Where I'm frustrated is that I feel like I was put in a bad position and destined to fail from the start, no matter what. I wasn't made aware that this was her first sleepover, and I didn't think it was fair to use someone else's house, especially during a child's birthday party, as a guinea pig without giving heads up. I'm not mad at the girl at all. I felt really bad for her. But I also didn't think it was my job to handle that level of distress all night. But I'm wondering if I should have just stayed up with her a bit longer to see if she'd go back to sleep and tried to push through until the morning, as her mom said. Plus, you did what you could, and you're right, it really wasn't your job to guide someone else's kid through their first sleepover. I think she's just upset that you interrupted her alone time. This little girl needed a little more easing into sleepovers, and it's on her mom that she didn't do that. I also kind of wonder if the mom got mad at the little girl for not sticking it out and shamed her for it.
Moms need to be tough.
Therefore, it's not embarrassment this little girl is feeling, it's shame. And I feel bad for her. I can't speak for being a parent because I'm not one, but if I were, I would be so upset to find out that I was not called. However, I was a kid of divorced parents, where I only saw my father every other weekend. And even though it was my dad's weekend, the moment I got sick or wanted to go home, my mom had no problem taking us back at any hour. From my kid point of view, knowing she would always be there for me brought me a lot of comfort. So let's take a look at some of those comments. NTA, I'd be furious to discover my child had been begging to come home because they were scared and someone kept them against their will. It's on the parent to guide her through the situation and help her understand her feelings, why she felt what she did, and then make sure they put a safety net in place for the next time she tries. As a dad, I am extremely grateful to you for sitting with her and treating her with kindness, and then calling to get her home. Yeah, I agree. My kid is 17. If she wanted to come home from a friend's house, I'll go get her, no questions asked. Yeah, I feel like it should be this way. Great piece of parenting advice I once saw was not only give your kids carte blanche to ask for rides home from anywhere, no questions asked, but include a signal if they needed you to take the heat for it. For example, they text you a shrimp emoji, and that is your cue to call them and remind them that they have a test to study for, or tell them that Aunt June is in the hospital, or whatever excuse, and they need to come home right now. I feel better that my kids will always be comfortable asking me to pick them up from a situation they are uncomfortable in, and that they won't hesitate because they don't want to risk social embarrassment. I've told my son the exact same thing. Blame me. I don't care if your friends don't like me because I am making you leave. I will always be the reason, and I will always come and get you. My mom did the same thing, and let me tell you, it comes in handy. NTA, it wasn't your job to handle that level of distress. And the little girl asked to go home. You did the right thing. Agreed. You did what you could. And this is something her mom needs to work with her on, not you. Also, the kiddo's mom's reaction is the reason the kiddo's embarrassed. Don't let this keep you up at night. Yeah, the mother's text was kind of dumb and just blaming you for her problem. She was kind of making this a bigger deal than it really needed to be. You did the right thing, and sad to say, if she gave OP a heads up, I bet OP would have happily helped come up with a what-if plan for this little girl. NTA, you did the right thing by the little girl. So let's take a look at another story here. AITA for telling a parent that their kid is weird when she pushed as to why my kid didn't want to be her friend. My family and I have moved states. It has been a hard move, especially for my oldest daughter, Caddy. She's in 6th grade. The area school district has a Facebook account that parents are a part of. I introduced myself on there a while ago. Oh no, watch out for those Facebook groups. We put Caddy on the cross-country team, and she's been making friends over the summer. I got a message from a parent last week asking to meet up and let our kids meet. They would be in the same grade, and I thought it would be a good opportunity. We went yesterday to the local pool. I met Melanie. She wasn't making eye contact, was very soft-spoken, and overall didn't seem to be paying attention. The kids were playing while I talked to the mom. She has always been in the area and was excited her kid was getting a friend. Caddy came up to me asking to leave since she wasn't feeling well. We left early, and in the car she admitted to just wanting to get away from Melanie. She explained that Melanie freaked her out. She was very touchy, kept pushing her under the water, and was whispering, saying things under her breath, and would stare at people and make comments, comparing people to bugs. I'm still confused on what that means.
Sorry, no, it's classified in the DMZ. Gotta go ASAP.
Caddy told me she was uncomfortable and doesn't want to hang out with her again. That is sad, but sometimes people just don't mesh, and you can't force these things. The parent messaged me and asked when they could do it again. I told her the girls didn't mesh well and that we will have to decline. She then called me asking what I meant. Okay, anyone else like this? If you call me while I'm messaging you and you don't ask ahead of time if it's okay to call, I'm not picking up. I told her that Caddy wasn't interested in hanging out since they didn't mesh. I was trying to be polite about it. This went on for a while, and she told me that the kids just needed to be around each other more. I told her no on that. Oh man, gotta love someone who can't just take a hint. Jeez. It went on for a while. She asked to talk to my husband, which is when I snapped. Oh my god. What? What? 'Cause the man of the house can make you do it? Are you kidding me? I would have definitely hung up on her at that point because clearly you can't reason with someone who is not living in this century. I told her no and that I was trying to be polite, but her kid is weird. Melanie makes my kid uncomfortable and I don't know what the heck is up with her, but we will not be having another playdate. She went on Facebook. See, you gotta watch out for those Facebook groups. And it's going around about how the new family are jerks. It seems to not be going anywhere, but I wonder if I was the jerk. So what I see here is a mom sticking up for their kid when they're feeling uncomfortable. It does suck to be forced to hang out with kids your own age who you don't mesh well with, just because the parents say so. Weirdly, this mom is forcing this friendship. I have never felt real friendships grow from being forced. I was really lucky because when I was a shy kid struggling to make friends, me and my mother had a talk about how not everyone's gonna like you, and that's on them. I ended up realizing it was better to have one really good friend than many. And it's okay to enjoy your own company. What you said about the kid, however, was really harsh, but I do understand how we got here. I can't believe this woman had the gall to ask for your husband. I would have gotten a little irrational at that point too. I don't want to blame the kid. The a-hole here was clearly the parent for pushing this friendship, and I put the blame squarely on her. Clearly this woman couldn't take a hint and kept pushing matters instead of bowing out gracefully. So let's take a look at some of these comments. She asked to speak with your husband, as in she thought that was the social equivalent of asking for the manager. Let me speak with the person in charge of you, basically? Nope, absolutely not, NTA. My guess would be that there is a reason why her daughter evidently doesn't have any friends, and at least some of it originates with the mother. Yeah, I would have seen red as soon as she asked for my husband.
May I speak to your manager?
No, thank you. You just told me what kind of person you are, and I don't want to deal with you ever again. Right? That part would have sent me into a rage. Are you kidding me? My husband is not my keeper, nor does he have sole authority over this household. What year is this lady living in? LOL. NTA, you tried to let her down lightly and she pushed it further. my suggestion would be to explain exactly what you did in this post about Melanie's specific behavior, and not just call her weird. Having specifics might help her mom understand why she made Caddy uncomfortable. Or she'll make excuses for it, but at least you tried. I have a feeling others have been through this before, and that's probably why the post isn't doing as much damage as it would have otherwise. Yeah, I like this. It's always better to talk about the behavior instead of calling people, in this case, a kid, names. Your kid is weird is an attack. Your kid's behavior makes my kid uncomfortable, and I'm not forcing her to be around someone that makes her feel uncomfortable. It's just standing up for your kid. OP did the right thing, just was careless with her wording. Definitely careless, I do agree. There is a little girl on my 6th grade's daughter's club soccer team that is biblically homeschooled, for lack of a better word. This child is so awkward. She really lacks in social skills and boundaries, probably because she rarely spends time with anyone other than her immediate family, talks to herself under her breath frequently to reassure herself out loud, and just really has no idea about the interests of an average 12-year-old girl, so she can't really have a conversation with anyone. She is only allowed to listen to Bible music at home. And when the girls asked the team for suggestions for a game warm-up playlist, she wanted to add gospel songs. I have no problem with this girl being raised in a religious environment. However, at some point, your parents should let you know that not everyone feels the same, and there is a time and place for gospel music, but maybe not when you are trying to get pumped up for a soccer game. For every team building thing they do, the girls hate getting stuck with her as a partner because she is so painfully awkward to be around. I've always taught our kids to be nice to everyone, even privately spoke with my daughter about how it's not her fault that she acts so strangely. I think she constantly talks to herself under her breath, reassuring herself because she has terrible anxiety and realizes she's different, but has no reference of social skills. It's really sad because she is a nice kid, but her upbringing has made her the weird kid. The sad part about this is the parents probably put her into soccer so she can socialize, and they're thinking, nailed it. It's hard to suggest songs if you don't know any. Poor girl, I feel for her. I was this girl. My parents did not enroll me into public school until 8th grade because they were afraid of me being indoctrinated by the secular sinners. I wasn't allowed to listen to any music other than Christian music, and we even went through a Christian network to get our TV. This girl has a hard life ahead of her once she gets into the real world outside of her family cult dynamic. I applaud you for trying to understand that it's not this girl's fault and trying to teach your daughter to have empathy and critical thinking skills. So I think this story inside of a story highlights the fact that it's not the kid's fault, and we should view them with kind eyes. It's very sad when a parent does this to a child. These parents are thinking they are protecting them when really they are setting them up for failure once they leave the nest. But NTA, and that Karen of a mom is. So let's take a look at the next story. AITA for telling my stepkids I am not their mom. My husband, 40M, and I, 36F, have been together for 8 years now, and our marriage has been rocky. When I met him, he had twins, boy and girl. I love them like they're my children, since it's hard for me to have kids that are mine. My husband and I tried for a baby last year, and I became pregnant, but had a miscarriage. But I think I'm just not meant to be a new mommy. The kids are 16. The husband's kids haven't seen their mom in years because she left for a guy in New York City, which is so sad because they didn't get to have a relationship with her. The twins call me mom and everything. We do everything like a little family I always wanted. When I was younger, I always used to tell myself not to date single fathers because they might be messing around with the mother of their kids, but I took the leap of faith. The other day, my son and daughter wanted to go to the mall with their friends, which was fine because they go to the mall a lot with them. The argument started because of what she was wearing. She wore a very short skirt and a crop top and a jean jacket. I immediately told her no, to change her clothes because I didn't feel comfortable with her going outside like that. I don't even know where she got the skirt from because everything she gets from the mall, she gives me a haul. A friend, 100% a friend. I remember being a teen and some of my most inappropriate clothing came from my friends. Her brother didn't even care what she was wearing and just rolled his eyes at me. Look, I understand a mother being concerned about the appropriateness of an outfit, but please don't bring the brother into it. A brother is not a keeper of his sister and should have no say in what she's wearing. She was pissed and upset. At the top of the steps, she screamed and told me I wasn't her mom, so I should stop acting like it. Her brother laughed, and that made me feel even worse. So I asked him why it was so funny to him, and he said that it's true. I'm not their mom, so I need to stop acting like I can tell them what to do. This felt like a slap in the face because I basically raised her, and this is what I get? Okay, where is their dad in all of this? He should be there backing you up. The bio parent is the one who sets the standard here in these type of relationships. If I tried to be like, you can't tell me what to do because you're not my real parent, I would have gotten in so much trouble for being so disrespectful to my step-parent. My mother made it very clear that just because they're not my real parent does not mean I could be disrespectful. The past months, they've been saying horrible things to me. My daughter even told me it was my fault I lost the baby, and she's happy I did. What a horrible thing to say. But the next day, I toughened up. I acted like nothing happened that day. I would usually wake them up for school and make them breakfast, but this time I didn't. I made myself breakfast because, like they said, I'm not their mom. My son had a basketball game that day, and I would be the mom to bring the snacks for the team, but I wasn't going. My daughter had a cheer competition 2 days after, but I wasn't going. I know y'all might call me petty for this, and I wouldn't disagree with you.
I'm being petty?
I have been getting up and ignoring everyone. I can feel them staring at me every time. Last night, my daughter came up to me and asked me why I didn't show up to her competition. I told her I wasn't her mom, so why should I? I can already see the YTAs, and I raised my husband's kids and stuff. I told my husband what they said, but he brushed me off. Okay, yeah, this is the problem right here. He clearly does not care and thinks it's okay for his kids to be so disrespectful to you. He doesn't respect you, so why should they? I don't think our marriage is working out, and I've been thinking about a divorce. I feel unappreciated in a place I call home. When I slave away in the kitchen to make them food, they order out instead, so I'm the only one eating the food. Was that too harsh? Okay, so I probably am not the only one who says this, but please get a divorce. You are unhappy and it sounds like you really need a fresh start. These kids are a reflection of him. They don't care about you as a person. They only care about what you can do for them. That's not love or respect. I know it's hard to start over, but it's better than living in a life where people who you love don't love and respect you back. You deserve better. NTA, being a step-parent is a thankless job. Luckily, some don't have to live through this, but some of us do. Being a step-parent isn't a thankless job. Being seen as staff/slave to poorly raised kids and an unsupportive parent is thankless. Yeah, this sounds like a no-win situation, and you have so much of your life to still live. Where is the husband/father in all of this? My guess, and this is just the feeling I get, that he is part of the problem. Honestly, I think he is the problem. As long as he doesn't have to do the heavy lifting, why should he care about what's going on? That's the issue. He doesn't do poop. It gets done by the stepmom, so daddy goes by the path of least resistance. The first instance when going to the mall is typical teenager a-holeness, in my honest opinion. I said something similar at 14 to my grandparents when I was staying with them for a summer. Teenagers are a-holes with raging hormones and incomplete brains. But to continue it for months and make the miscarriage comment, that's way beyond the usual teenage angst lashing out. I agree, this girl really needs some help if she thinks saying things like that is okay to say to anybody. And yeah, I think I'm more disappointed by your husband's attitude. He should be more thankful with you. Husband's attitude is probably what triggered the kids to say that stuff. NTA, it's petty, but they got to see what life is like with not a mom. Hopefully they realize, and you all can talk honestly about how their words/attitudes hurt you, and that they can decide the relationship they want to have. That would be fantastic if they could all sit down and talk things out, but with the husband's brush off, I don't think they'll ever will, and I think it's time for her to leave. So a commenter here asked a really good question. NTA, what did your daughter say when you told her why you didn't go to her competition? So this is OP's reply. She said she was upset with me, and that the whole time at the competition, she thought about our argument, and how that's how she messed up in her routine, placing her team in 5th place. She said if I didn't mention what she was wearing, she wouldn't have lost.
Oh, what a drama queen.
I hope you know that that's not true, and she is 100% out of line. Looks like deflecting any responsibility and blaming others is standard for her. Yeah, and this was her moment to reflect and then apologize, but instead she comes back and blames OP. This girl clearly has problems, and you cannot help her because you don't have the support. It's hard to walk away from people that you love, But without the support of your husband, what can you do? No judgment. Teenagers suck. They're full of hormones, insecurity, and anxiety, and it's overwhelming. You've been the only consistent mother figure in their life for 8 years, and you're a safe person to lash out at. But they need to know that that's not okay. It sounds like you're pretty unhappy in this situation. Your husband sounds useless, and maybe it's time to get out. You're still young and can create a life of your own. I'm so sorry you're going through this. So this story is a couple years old, so I hope OP found her way forward and is happier in her life. But NTA, I hope you found the doodles calming and the stories interesting. Comment your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. Or if you're shy, add an emoji instead. Also, if you feel so inclined, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching to the end. I look forward to reading your thoughts and see you in the next one. Bye!